Hello, welcome. I see somebody's here turning on comments. This is live. Thank you for being patient. I had to get Ted all settled in, but we're here. And I thought for today's live, this is in association with our community road opener. I go live twice a week on Wednesdays and on Saturdays. I might start doing Saturdays a little bit later. It's a little hard to get moving on the weekend after being up late. So we might adjust the timing on Saturday a little bit to be more like 11:30 instead of 11, but do right around 11 a.m. on Wednesdays. And if you want that course that goes along with this community road opener, it's free. And you can find that at cobrasmedicinebag.com on the homepage. You'll see the listing right at the top. Underneath it, there's a little red button that says free access here. Click it and you're into the course. There's no upsell. There's no strings attached. You don't have to give your email. There's no registration of an account required, nothing. It'll just take you right into the course. And we go week by week through the different lessons. This week was all about doing a cleanse, an inflammation cleanse. And if you didn't start the inflammation cleanse this week, that's okay. You can do this inflammation cleanse at any point as we journey together, even through the entire summer. You can even stick with this way of eating through the summer if you really resonate with it, if you feel really good with it, okay? So anytime you come to this is the right time, and I welcome all of you who are taking part in it, and thank you to those who are returning to do this work with me, who did this with me in the springtime with the Kapha course, which is also open for free on Cobra's Medicine Bag. So do check it out. I'm opening up that dosha discovery series one by one as the seasons roll in for the doshas here at Brockhaven. But today I thought we would go into the energies that are coming into play with the full moon in Capricorn that we have coming up on July 3rd. Actually comes in the wee hours, okay? So we got like just after, I think, like 7 a.m., 7:30ish, something like that. I don't remember the exact timing. Eastern Standard Time in the United States, we'll have that full moon in Capricorn coming in. It is a full buck super moon. In fact, significant super moon. It's kicking off a series of 4 back-to-back super moons. So we got a lot happening planetarily right now, a lot of energy building. But I have some really good news, okay? Because this particular moon is a fortunate one, all right? So where we dealt with a lot of kind of heavy, shadowy, suspicious, intrigue energy with the last new moon we just rolled through, okay? And all the energy that was building up before that with just the Scorpio South Node work we've all been sludging through. This moon like turns the lights on in the room. This room, I meant to say this moon, but this room is set to expand. The parameters of the spaces we've been operating in are set to move into expansion. Things are going to become a lot more open. There's going to be a lot more freedom. The energy is lightening up, and you're meant to kind of move more with that enlightening energy rather than stay within the heaviness and the sort of like stale, musty, hanger-on energy related to that Scorpio South Node. It's sort of like the shadows had its time, but there's this thing with shadow work. You can become attached to your shadow. It can become almost like a codependency to stay in this place of your suffering or your place of victimization, martyrhood. You forget how much at times your shadow. I got all this interesting stuff slipping out with communication. I want to say shadow instead of shadow. It's so sad. Oh, what a beautiful shade of suffering it is. It's a bit of that energy, okay? It can go to wallowing, woe is me, feel sorry for me, look what I've been through, using excuses, using what you've been through as an excuse to keep you from like rising to the challenge, Eye of the tiger energy, man. You got to be in it to win it, collective, okay? And there's so much positive momentum building if you can get on that track and get out of, this story you tell yourself about why life's so hard, all right? I'm not saying life isn't challenging. Of course it is, but life is always going to have challenge. And has the heat really been turned up in recent years? I'm not going to argue on that, okay? But there's, always your choice about how you deal with it. And you can choose to be down for the count. That's up to you. That's a choice. And you're going to seal your fate, as other people, walk on over you to get to where they're going, because we need to move forward, collective, and we can't be holding on to anything that's going to hold us back or keep us in an old way of being. There's too much expansion and there's too much positivity on offer with this lunar cycle. And this is a very significant lunar cycle for us because we are moving on up to that point, that Aries point, that alpha omega meeting up point that's going down with a new moon in Leo on July 18th. Okay, we're having the change of the nodes of destiny. It's big. It's so Leo. Okay, it's like center stage, shining moment. We're building up to this right now. This full moon that's coming in the early hours on Monday morning. Okay, so you'll really want to, if you're going to do any work with this moon, any manifestation work, which by the way, it's an excellent time. It's an excellent time for manifestation work, and also just clearing out old energy, any spiritual cleansing, purification work you need to do, aligning with your spiritual path, setting your vision, all of this. Wonderful time to do workings, to do goal setting with this particular moon, and also releasing, making a commitment to release whatever is holding you back, whether it's a bad habit you got or some kind of unhealthy pattern you keep acting out of, or anything else that's getting in the way. Maybe even, certain connections that need to go, or, a certain job that it's time to like revamp or head in a new direction, or maybe strike out on your own altogether, do your own thing. Okay. So there's so much potential for transformation, but not just transformation, like really leveling up big time with this full moon coming in Capricorn. A lot of North Node activation. So really pay attention to where is your North Node, what's going on with your North Node, what sign is your North Node in. It's really playing out right now. Do look at a progress chart and notice where the Aries North Node is in relation to your true node. It's very significant. Pay attention to this. Notice how these two signs interact with each other. How does your North Node sign, your true North Node sign, interact with that Aries North Node? What are they doing in your progress chart? This is going to play a significant role. And if you don't have a chart, I highly recommend you get a chart just with everything that's coming in. It's going to allow you to better understand how to move with these dynamic energies that are in play and make best use of them. All right. So the more you understand yourself and how these energies are moving through your chart, the more you're going to be able to have really effective actions that lead to some very positive manifestations. And you'll be celebrating come fall. You'll have quite the harvest if you apply yourself correctly at this time. So AstroDienst is a wonderful resource. The website is not astrodienst.com like I thought. I have pinned it on another post, but I will pin it in the comments here for those of you who do not have your natal chart and want to have free access to a chart so you can start to explore who you are, what makes up you, and sort of, your mojos, your magics, the things you got in your bag of tricks that you came into this life with that you can really capitalize on right now. Bottom of the deck energy, 4 of Wands in reverse. Okay, this is like coming into alignment and the celebration that's on offer. And we see here with this coming up in reverse, we have rectification, helps one live in peace with everyone. And see, with this in reverse, it's sort of like right now, we're still so focused on that South Node energy collective. We really need to kind of like turn our focus around. We have to look at now, okay, where do we go from here? I think there's been too much focus on sort of like, well, how did we get here? Okay, you need to do that to a certain extent, because then naturally it informs your steps moving forward into the future. But when you spend too much time looking back at the foundation and you don't do the work of actually starting to lay a new one, being informed by where you've been and the experiences you've had, then you kind of just stay stuck in the same energy and the same cycle. And that would really be a shame with this particular full moon energy that we have coming in, that's going to carry us all the way to that new moon in Leo on the 18th of July, when we have the changing of the nodes of destiny, and Aries takes over North Node and Libra takes over that South Node. By the way, you know, cardinal signs front and center for the rest of this year. Cardinal signs where you have felt really stuck, where you felt like everything's just been held up at the crossroads. Look for things to really start moving forward for you on July 18th. This is when you're going to see a lot of these old karmic cycles closing, and there's going to be a balance coming in, right? Things will become a lot more freer. There's going to be a decisiveness. You're going to know the directions you're heading in, and things, and just in general, are going to become a lot easier, a lot less like traffic jam, you know, kind of congested, you know, held up, held back, held in. All right, the energy is going to want to express itself outwardly, and as well, there's going to be opportunities aligning for you that will like get you going. I feel like a lot of like giddy up energy in the picture, and that's probably because of just the Sagittarius influence front and center, Pisces influence front and center. You look at those two elementals in terms of the signs and the elementals they're ruled by. We're really looking at big fire, water energy, you know, that point of sort of like doing the alchemical work of temperance, balancing things out. And I feel like there's been enough time, you know, sort of like trying to find the checks and the balances with the past. So important at this time that the collective turns the energy around, because we're meant to now get to the other side of this and come into what truly is in alignment with us. A lot of what has been released with the past are things that are no longer in alignment, okay? And so now it's time to figure out what is, you know, and those timelines are syncing up at this time, as well as the people who are meant to travel down these, you know, trajectory shifts with you, travel down these new roads, open up these new chapters. You're having soulmates coming in, soul family connecting, you know, lovers, yes, old friends, yes, friends that you haven't met in this life yet, but they feel like old friends. There's a kindred kind of connection there. There's some kind of soul recognition when these people come in, aligning with teachers, mentors, you know, and in some cases, you know, aligning with adversaries, you know, people who bring out the best in you. Those of you who have been dealing with this kind of energy, which it has been in play big time, we've had the opposition energy between Mars and Venus for a while now. Of course, that's going to amplify as we head towards those nodes of destiny shifting, because we got Aries in the North Node, Libra in the South Node at that time on July 18th. Aries is Mars, Libra is Venus. Okay, so you're still going to have this kind of push-pull energy out there in the collective. You're still going to have this all is fair in love and war, you know, energy in the collective. There's still going to be this polarization, and that's kind of the point, because with Libra taking over that South Node, it's all about finding the balance. It's about balancing the karma. This is really significant. Libra also represents the house of union, the house of relationship, marriage, coming together in love. And so this is giving the collective a clue about what we're building up towards. We're meant to rise out of sort of like the murkiness, the heaviness, the subversiveness, the hiding, the secrecy, the intrigue of that Scorpio South Node. And we're meant to take all that we learned during that time of that deep dive down there, integrating the shadow, integrating what was operating on the subconscious level. And now we're supposed to like bring it up into the light. It's so necessary to bring it up into the light, because until we make that subconscious conscious, as Jung said, it will rule over our lives, and we will call it fate. And the reality is we rule over our lives. It's not some outside authority that dictates what is created in our lives. We are meant to come back to this awareness that, wait, I am the creator, and so are you, and so is this person, and this person over here, and everything I see, everything around me, everything in existence, macrocosm reflected in microcosm, it's all creator. It's all this one energy. And so we're really being asked to step more into this dynamic consciousness that gets us beyond polarities of us versus them, that keeps us trapped in that mindset of all's fair in love and war, that keeps us at war with love, that keeps us locked out of that garden of earthly delight that we really want to be welcomed into, to just sample all the beauty and all the wonder and all the delights and joys that are available to us in this life. Because, we've struggled enough with the hard times and bitter tea. We're not meant to stay there. And if you stay too long in that space of sort of wallowing over the past, there's this other thing that begins to take over the consciousness, and it's a sense of ingratitude. Okay? It's a sense of ingratitude to ignore where the light is filtering into your life, where there is beauty to be found, where there is connection, where there is alignment, where there is support. Okay? So this is like so essential right now that we turn away from, I'm going to just put it out there, the narcissism of focusing on the pain, the trauma, the wounding of the past. At some point, it becomes a narcissism. It does. It wraps up this sense of self-importance that somebody owes you something. I am reading energy both with what is going on astrologically. I channel. Okay, so I bring that in as well. I just tap in with Creator before I drop in with all of you, and I get out of the way. Okay, so whatever wants to come through, comes through. And I have a background in Ayurveda, so that automatically factors into what I bring through in a reading. I look at things from an Ayurvedic perspective, also from a metaphysical perspective, and also from a scientific perspective. I have kind of a holistic view. And when the messages are coming in, it's like I got my information that I know from what's aligning astrologically, and I work with the tarot. But when I channel through, I don't do personals on the lives, because I'm here for the collective. When I'm dropping in on the lives, I'm here to give the energy an opportunity to reach all of the people that are tuning in. So, but if you want a personal, I do personal reads, and you can contact me at broadkevin@gmail.com to set that up if you want, and I would be happy and honored to read you. But I don't do that during lives, okay? So this energy, that's in play, it's really asking us to move out of this narcissism where we're over invested in our sense of martyrdom or victimhood by continually looking at what has held us back, or where we feel we didn't get what we wanted, or how we feel somebody treated us. And this in no way is negating that there are injustices that happen in the world, that there's unnecessary suffering, that there are things that are done that operate out of a base of evil motivation, absolutely. And these are things that are being balanced out at this time. There's a lot of exposure around things that come from this sort of distortion of separation consciousness, you know, that are being revealed right now. The veil is being lifted around these things because we are in those culminating stages of the age of the Kali Yuga, which is all about tearing away, you know, the veil and looking at things as they are. It's waking up out of that sense of Maya, out of the great illusion, so we can move more into that spirit of moksha, liberation, freedom. Okay, so we got that with this age of Aquarius that's really building up here. So this is the energy we're meant to move into, more of this space of gratitude, like a wisdom that is extracted from the pains of the past and from what has caused just sort of a degradation. How to develop psychic ability. Well, you know what? You should check out the course that I'm offering for free in tandem with the work that we're doing here at Broad Coven. If you go to cobrasmedicinebag.com and you look on the home page there, you'll see at the top there's a description for the Own Your Fire course. Okay, it's got like violet flames. You can't really miss the picture. And if you look right after the little brief description, there's a red button there and it says free access here. Click on that and it takes you right into the course. And we're going week by week through a course where you can develop your psychic ability. It absolutely will put you in touch with your own intuitive knowing, because we all have this ability to tap into higher consciousness, to have access to these keys of illumination. All right, you know, it's all within you. It's all the same energy. So if you go through that course, it's free. There's nothing required. You don't need to log in. You don't need to set up an account or anything to be able to access it. So you should take advantage of it. But I'm going live here each week while we're going through the course. We're on week 2 right now. We're coming to the close. Well, more like second half of week 2 right now. We start on Wednesdays. Wednesdays to Wednesdays is our week with the course. And I have a playlist here too. Okay, if you scroll down on the home page, you can find it. You can drop in with that and you can play catch up. So it'll give you an idea of what's going on. But we're combining metaphysics with Ayurveda, and we're doing kind of like a road opener, opening the road within. Okay, you know, opening up those, you know, chakras, getting our energy flowing, you know, learning how to activate our higher vision, working a lot with third eye, ajna, actually, with this particular course, which is for Pitta. We just entered Pitta season on summer solstice. So I welcome you to take advantage of it. It's free. It's free for everybody. And you can also pass it on and let other people know about it too. So if you work through that program and drop in here, you know, you'll learn. We'll be covering this kind of stuff. So I'm very grateful to have you here. Thank you for dropping in with me today. I appreciate you. So yes, we're meant to kind of like move more into this welcoming of the light, you know, welcoming of this return of a new cycle, all right? Because Aries is going to take over that north node, Libra the south node. Aries is the initiator, the alpha, okay? And Libra is the omega, all right, the balancer, and they're in relationship with each other. You also have to think of the energies in this way. Aries is associated with that first house. That's very much self-oriented, right? But Libra is the balancing point, and Libra is associated with marriage, union. So this is about coming into that place of union and alignment within the self, and how this is going to be expressed outwardly in our relationships, all of our relationships, not just our romantic relationships, but how we relate to one another, you know, in our day-to-day life, out in the marketplace, okay? Our family, our friends, our coworkers, all right, just in general, how we relate to nature itself as well, and our relationship with the earth, and how when we feel disjointed from nature, how when we feel disconnected from nature, we don't feel supported by nature. And this is a real key piece that people often miss in the whole cycle of manifestation, calling our visions into being, because our visions don't just automatically come into being just when we think about them. There's a whole chain of manifestation. It's an elemental chain of alchemy that occurs. First, the energy pulls down from ether, akasha, spirit, right? And then comes in as inspiration on the air element in the form of the thoughts, you know. In terms of tarot, you can think of that as swords energy. That's that ether, air energy. It's when, you know, that spirit descends into the consciousness and through your Atman, your higher consciousness, the bridge between you and spirit, and it activates a thought, an inspiration in you. It's also breath, which to breathe in archaic terms meant to inspire. That's what breathe means. Breathe means to inspire. So the prana comes in, the prana, the activating life force energy comes in from ether. It inspires thought. I am, you know, I am is the original thought. It's sort of like the birth of the ego, okay? It's also the birth of your ideas, your inspirations, you know, what you want to create. And then it gets activated further. It moves into the next cycle of transformation, which is fire, okay? Fire hatches the vision through that third eye, through ajna. Fire activates the sense of purpose, like I'm going to do this thing, you know? Fire also activates the focus to get things done, and a way to sort of carve out that avenue, the pathway to allow creation to come in. Fire is the action that makes things happen. Fire gets things done, right? And then we move out of that pitta element into kapha, which is the final stage of manifestation, the water, nurturing our visions through really investing our time, our energy, our care. You know, when you care for something, when you hold space for something, when you give it nurturing intention and attention, it grows, okay? And then from that final stage, that water, what does it do? Water is the life-giving energy here on earth. It waters, it pours, it purifies, it cleanses, it restores, and then you have growth that comes from the earth. You have the flowering. You have that energy of when Persephone did her deep dive into the underworld, into that Scorpio South Node as that high priestess. She emerges. There's so many parallels, okay? You could look at it also as that deep dive that, you know, Ishtar took down into, you know, the underworld, or Lilith. She's known by many names as that dark feminine aspect, the shadow aspect. Both are essential, shadow and light. They coexist, okay? The darkness is also rich and fertile, okay? Things grow out of the dark. Without the darkness, we wouldn't have creation. We wouldn't have the light. So sometimes we do need to go down to these places. We need to go deep down into the shadow so that we can make what wants to come into conscious expression possible by pulling it up and out and exposing it to the light. And that's where the growth comes in the form of core, you know, that transformed Persephone energy that's all about that Empress energy, right? We're in that process right now. We're supposed to be rising up into that North Node of Taurus, which is all about that Empress energy, moving into the place of truly having a sense of value, what is truly meaningful in our lives, and investing our time and energy in purposeful ways, and really valuing the gift of our lives and ourselves at its core. Core is also about gratitude. And from that gratitude and that sense of interrelation and connection is what brings about the flourishing. That's what brings about the abundance, that cornucopia that's overflowing and brings a harvest in the fall. All right, this is really coming in. And this full moon is going to be such a time for setting the intentions, because this full moon has the most favorable aspect possible. This full moon in Capricorn is trine Jupiter. It just doesn't get better than this. All right. Jupiter is all about luck. It's all about expansion. It makes everything bigger. And when we got a trine, Jupiter is operating from that aspect of like sugar daddy. You know, this is when the sugar comes in, where you've been dealing with hard times and bitter teas. This is when things get a little bit sweeter. This is when things sweeten up. This is when you get to experience the joys in life. This is when the sun starts filtering in, okay? So you don't want to be distracted by the shadow anymore. It's kind of time to like build a bridge and get over it. It's time to slough it off. We've been talking about this. It's like, it is what it is. At some point, you know, you got to like kind of chalk it up to that. It is what it is. Yeah, the emperor, because the emperor is here to take, you know, his position with the empress, right? It's so essential. We have the empress with that Taurus north node of destiny. If you're still in that south node, you're not going to rise up into that Taurus north node of destiny. You're going to stay down there in the south node, and you're going to continue to stay stuck in old karmic cycles. Do you really want that? The emperor is coming in. The Aries energy is coming into the north node on the 18th. So what happens with this full moon is we are really planting a seed for what's going to start to take off. This thing is going to grow shoots. It's going to start taking off, and it's going to have you taking off in your direction. You're not going to be stuck anymore. All right. That is the creative point, the alpha, the omega point. The new direction is born. It's the initiation of it. Aries is bringing it in. The emperor, Michael, like unto God, political authority, gives safe travel and protects against conspiracies. Okay, that's Scorpio South Node. That's very much that's conspiracy kind of energy, the secrecy kind of energy. This is about, you know, blowing all that out of the water. This is about really having that exposure energy. So you don't get caught up in intrigue. So you don't get caught up in trying to, you know, figure out a mystery or understand what somebody's feeling who's not sharing their emotions. It's not about that. It's about you stepping into what you do know is true, where you do have clarity, where there is resonance, where it does feel right. And you're going to have safe passage, man. Okay. You're going to have safe passage moving into this new cycle that kicks off on July 18th with that new moon in Leo and with the changing of the nodes of destiny when the emperor Aries takes over that point to come into alignment with that empress energy, because the empress also represents Libra. So do you see how these polarities are still playing out, the Mars Venus energy, but this is very dynamic. It's an opportunity for a new fruitful beginning. And it really kicks off with the intentions you're holding with this full moon coming in on July 3rd. So you want to pay attention to this. I encourage you, please do some visualization work. Do some manifestation work with this full moon. It's going to benefit you so much. Do your workings, you know, write up your business plan, okay? Set your goals, set your action steps like we talked about at the beginning of the course, okay? Get those action steps really dialed in. Have your action steps changed a little bit. You might have learned some things as you kind of outlined your action steps, what works for you and what doesn't. You might need to tweak things a little bit. Now's a good time for doing that. Now's a good time for putting up a vision board or for creating an altar space. Now is a time to really set your sights. It's also time to explore, you know, go out and start investigating, research, you know, these directions that you want to head in. Start to just open up the avenue through your willingness to be open to it by putting your focus, your time, your attention on this. I really feel like you're moving into this place of authority in your life. You know, you are the captain at the helm. You are going to steer this ship. And this full moon is bringing in that 3 of Wands energy. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see them coming in on the horizon. I'm telling you, between now and July 18th, all right? As this energy with this lunar cycle that gets kicked off with this full super moon in Capricorn comes in, it's really going to start to make it evident that your ships are coming in, like the wait is over. You're going to see all this stuff starting to free up, and it's going to become a lot clearer for you. So Feel good about this, all right? All these like sort of intrigues, you know, secrecy, you know, things happening behind the scenes, all of that is being broken up. All of that is being exposed. There's a light being shined on that. And in fact, that's not just happening in our own personal lives. It's not just even happening in our own psychology. Like, I never knew that I, you know, had this block inside of me that was holding me back, because it's happening on that level too. It's not just in our relationships. It's not just in our, you know, outer experiences. It's also rocking our inner worlds too, but it's also happening on a global level. And we're seeing that, and we're going to see more of that. It's like, this is a time of truth telling. The truth is coming out, and it's good to step into the truth. And for you, with this full moon, it's about you really stepping into your truth and embodying it. This is what shines your light forward, okay? And there's something beautiful that comes into your life if you have the courage to step into the truth of who you are, the truth of your purpose, the truth of what you truly desire, you know, and own it. No matter what anybody else thinks about it, it's about having that courage to really step into that position of the creator of your life and taking initiative, right? Perfect for what we're doing with Own Your Fire. I'm really loving this energy, but this is coming in and we're assured, you know, safe travel, okay? So it might look like a little sketchy, like, how am I going to bridge this gap? How am I going to get to the other side? How am I going to get where I'm going? Maybe you haven't had the answers. Maybe you didn't have some tangible, you know, material thing you needed to take the next step towards your dream, towards your goal, towards your vision, towards this next chapter of your life. You're being assured that these things are coming in. Yeah, look at this. Ace of Wands, bottom of the deck energy. Omiel, the patient god, fertility and multiplicity, protects against despair, helps one be patient, all right? A lot of you got tired of waiting. You've been waiting a long time, you know? It's like you've been told it's just around the corner forever, but we always know that divine timing never works on our time, and the gods laugh at man's plans, okay? So this is kind of that energy. It'll make sense to you once you see those nodes of destiny shift and you start seeing what's coming in for you, what's aligning with you. You'll understand why it took so long. You'll understand the amazing orchestration of it all. There's a bit of awe in it, okay? There's a bit of a tower in it, but it's like a good tower. It's like a mind-blowing tower. It gets you looking at life in a new way. You have a new sense of trust in life itself. You understand that you don't need to be paranoid. You don't need to stay in this like Scorpio energy of paranoia. You can move into pronoia, that, wow, everything is working synergistically on my behalf. Just for me. Like, it's all coming together for me. And even the challenges I had, they helped me pull something out of myself that I wouldn't have been able to pull out of myself if I didn't have to fall back on only me. You know, it cultivated certain strengths within you. It allowed certain unconscious gifts become conscious in you. And that's something you need to look at more. Like, what is the pearl that got through those irritating, you know, frustrating, difficult experiences you've been through? It's time to really acknowledge the gift. It's time to be grateful for the growth, and even grateful for how it came through. You're going to understand that you really have been protected, supported every step of the way. You just got in your own way. You were just at this place of division within yourself where you didn't understand, oh, wait a minute, I am directly connected to that power source. I am a creator. I have the ability to create the reality I want to live for myself. It's my life. I get to be at the helm. I get to be in that emperor, empress position. And here you go. You're going to take that authority, that action. You're prepping for it right now. You're getting yourself all set up and prepped to take this action. Ace of Wands, I'm seeing that magician energy that represents that spirit of Aries that's taking over that north node, you know, holds up that wand in a commanding way. It says, yes, I'm going in that direction. It's also that kind of like laser pointed focus that you need to have at this time. Really work with that building fire energy of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is an explorer. Sagittarius has a philosophical view of life. Sagittarius is gregarious. Sagittarius travels far, not only, you know, in material reality, but also on the outer reaches, okay? Sagittarius knows how to go way out there. Sagittarius knows how to move into expansion, knows how to look at things a different way, have an openness of freedom, and that very freedom is at the heart of what love is about, okay? It's about freedom, and it's about freedom within ourselves, freedom of expression, freedom to be who we are, and also respecting that freedom of others and all of life, okay? So it's about really moving from this place of consciousness, but you're gonna take an action. You are taking an action on July 18th. It's a very significant action. It's the beginning of your next chapter, okay? It is the seed of your next chapter, and it's what's going to grow your harvest come fall. This is really coming in. It took a long time getting here, but it's going to be worth the wait. Look at it. I love how the angel is holding a lily and is also holding a crown. And I feel this is like your crowning moment, all right? This is what you've been waiting for. This is what you've been building up towards. This is your time to shine. It really is coming in with that Leo energy too. This is when the light filters back into your life. This is when you realize, oh, that light at the end of the tunnel, it's not an oncoming train, you know? There is something here for me. I haven't been forgotten. I haven't been left behind. I have been seen. I have been acknowledged. Like all of life came together to give me this new beginning. That's what you're really going to understand. You're going to feel such a sense of gratitude for all of it. Okay, it's a beautiful thing, this new point of inception. There's also the lilies here, though. Okay, and lilies represent having respect for the deaths, the endings, the releases in our lives. Okay, having a sense of appreciation for the beauty that came even out of our points of grief, our senses of loss, you know, where we feel that we had to let go, and maybe at times we weren't ready to let go. Maybe at times we were dragged a hard mile, but that was also part of the lesson, and there's even a beauty in that comes through. So I think this is also about maybe giving spirit some flowers, you know, thanking spirit for the lessons, thanking spirit for the tough love, you know, working with that Saturnian energy a little bit, okay? Saturn is retrograde. We do have, you know, that Capricorn energy coming in with this full moon. Saturn is Capricorn's ruler. Saturn also teaches us to have tenacity. It calls forth within us that goat energy, all right? Just to be able to just make the impossible possible, all right? You've seen goats climb up cliff sides. You may have felt like you've been climbing up a cliffside. You may have been, you know, impatient. When is it getting here? But when it gets here, you're going to understand, oh my gosh, the way things had to come together. And you know what it's reminding me of? It's reminding me of a poem by, is it Longfellow? I will find it. I will hunt it down. It's something like one by one in the infinite heavens, they bloomed the stars, the forget-me-nots of angels, something like that. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the comments. I'll pin it in the comments for you. I feel like it's that energy. It's very much like as above, so below. It's like now you're going to feel that spirit manifest in your life by what comes in. You're going to understand the divine orchestration, or if you don't relate to spirit in that way, you're just going to really understand the interconnectedness of things. You're going to be tapping into that cosmic web of creation and understanding how your life does make a difference. Everybody's life makes a difference. It's all significant. It's all interrelated. It's all reverberating through all of creation. It's that ecstasis, that one note, that energy that ripples throughout all of existence, that is within you, that is in me, that is in everything we see, all that's around us. And it's like this point, this unity point that comes in when you have this aha moment. I feel like it comes in like a tower and it awakens you. You go, oh my gosh, it all makes sense. Like, I understand why everything happened just as it did. And you're going to be grateful for it. It's a beautiful thing. Look at this. Right after this, another ace. Ace of Swords. That is the truth. That is the truth. I've also been picking up a really interesting energy lately. Between two figures that wield a sword. And it's interesting because it's kind of anchoring the ether energy with the earth energy, like that as above, so below energy. So Jophiel, Archangel Jophiel, which is all about aligning with the beauty and the wonder within yourself and in the world and all of creation, and sort of building this energy. There's been this big piece that's been coming forward for a while that we're really meant to focus on our creativity and do what we need to do as well to clear out Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra. This is our creative center. And so it's very essential that we do a lot of work around this at this time. If you look on the Own Your Fire playlist, the first one we did in 2022, last year, you will find all kinds of like meditative practices for clearing chakras. And there is one in there for sacral chakra. And I've done some recent ones as well. There's also resources available on YouTube. So, you know, work with some of these like chakra clearing hertz frequencies for Svadhisthana, for that sacral chakra. You might also want to do some kind of clearing of old lovers' energies from that chakra, you know, just so you can kind of really inhabit that space, like take back your creative power. Very important, even if you're within relationship, you know, it's not healthy to be courted into one another. So this is a really beautiful way of, you know, being in alignment with within yourself and learning how to be in alignment with the mirror, with the other, within relationship, even within romantic relationship, where there can be this holding of power, this sharing of power together in tandem. Very beautiful, like this kind of balancing energy wants to come in around love. But and just as I say that, I look at the other, you know, the other words on this card. It says affinity and friendship, obtain the friendship of anyone. So yes, I feel like this is like really coming into alignment, realizing that we aren't separated. The separation is the original lie. It's all interconnected. We're all interconnected with each other. So despite where we are having challenges, despite where there's unrest in the world, we are kind of like all in this together. So we have to find a way through, and we find that way through by first making a way, you know, opening the road within ourselves and coming into that place of balance and alignment within ourselves. Then we're able to see it mirrored in the world around us. Then we're able to see it mirrored in our relationships. And I feel like that is the opportunity, that is the new beginning, this new way of relating, these new ways of moving through the world, experiencing the world, and the gifts that brings. Tangible gifts, yes, but also spiritual gifts, you know, emotional gifts that brings, creative gifts that brings in. And that really pops off on the 18th with that new moon in Leo and the changing of the nodes of destiny. But there's something about, this is the time right now to kind of like prepare the way within yourself, really get ready to step into this by building that light and moving into this expansive energy. I think you're going to feel a lifting of this energy with this full moon coming in, this super moon that kicks off. I mean, 4 super moons in a row. This is the first of them that's coming in on July 3rd. We got 4 more, you know, 4 total coming in. And that's very interesting to me. It's almost like, I think each of these full moons are aligning with the aces, you know, in tarot that's just coming in. So I think this is really kicking off like our season of the new chapter, you know, seeing those ships coming in. There's going to be a lot going down from this point. We've got summer, you know, coming in right now. with this lunar cycle, and seeing the new beginnings that come in summer and associated with that Ace of Cups energy. So now is going to be the time when we're really going to see a lot of growth in our relationships, not just with others, but also within ourselves, our relationship with ourselves. We're going to be focused a lot on spiritual growth. It begins there within ourselves, looking at things a new way, opening up into this expansion. A lot of people are experiencing psychic expansion. They're having this kind of awareness come forward for them. It's the first time they're having this kind of awareness come forward. And it's beautiful because there's also a lot of growth happening in that sign of Aquarius, which is all about the way we interconnect with each other, that cosmic web of creation, which can be the World Wide Web if we use it in effective ways. That this is happening at this time. There's a lot of community being built online, that people are working to establish more conscious community online, that it is possible. You are holding your own piece of that as well. This coming in, I feel like that is also reflected in the energy that also comes in with this moon, which is this moon is opposite Mercury. Now, normally that can be kind of like a negative influence. It means we can be on opposing sides in our communications with each other. We each have different views. We see things different ways. We're a little intractable. It's like, no, this is my position. You have to see things my way. You have to feel what I feel, okay? That's what can be produced with an opposite Mercury energy with a full moon, and especially with a supermoon, and especially one that's trine Jupiter, okay? Because Jupiter does make everything bigger, all right? But this is like really nullified. That's why this is such a wonderful moon for manifestation. And if there is somebody that you've been at odds with, if there is a relationship that you feel like, I really want to heal this, I want to make this better, now is the perfect time to open up those difficult conversations. Now is the time to share your truth, to expose the truth, to spill the secret about how you feel to that other person that, you know, maybe you feel distance, emotional distance from, maybe you're even at a distance from this person. We did have Sagittarius energy coming in, okay? I feel there is a lot of that. I feel there's distance both geographically for the collective, and I also feel there is, I've been waiting for the buck for a month. Aw. Well, you know, there's a lot of good energy coming in to support it, you know. I also feel there's a lot of energy that's being bridged mentally, right? We're covering a lot of old ground. We've done our looking back at the past, but now we're sort of like springing forward and we're envisioning our future. Okay, so there's a whole bridge that gets built between that. So I also feel this kind of energy coming in, bridging the gap in our minds, bridging the gap emotionally. And a lot of this is happening in our relationships with this particular moon. The thing that's great is that we have such beneficial influences. We have a lucky star, a lucky fixed star that is aligned with this full buck moon, this full buck supermoon, and that's Nunki. And this is just like, you just don't get better energy than this. It is aligned with the planets of Jupiter and Mercury energetically. So this means where you have had challenges in communication, where you have felt emotional distance between you and someone special, somebody you care about, and you're wanting to heal, you're wanting to like bridge the gap, you're wanting to, you know, at least have some kind of peaceful resolution, closure to the situation. This is going to come on through. This is blessed up. It does require taking action, you know. It does require taking up that wand. We know that. The Ace of Wands energy came out. And also with Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords doesn't hold back. Ace of Swords communicates its truth. Ace of Swords is transparent, stands in its truth, and gives absolute clarity, okay? So this is being very clear in your communications too. With clear communication, there's a lot of success. There's healing. There's reconciliation on offer in relationships. This is also a time when, as I said, there's going to be soulmates aligning leading up to the changing of the nodes of destiny with that new moon energy coming in the sign of Leo on the 18th. All right. It's very action-packed new moon, super big, like kickoff, like it's like in all Leo style, right? It's like if there could be like a montage song, that's what this full moon is about. We're in the montage phase, okay? We're getting ready to like really rise up into that like winner's circle. And each of us, that's the thing. There's been so much competitive energy because of the Venus opposite Mars energy in play in the astrology for so long that there's all this competitive energy out there, but it's like people don't get it. No, you don't understand. Like we all can win, man. Like we all can have this winning moment. That's what's on offer, and we're meant to. That's the way we're meant to work with this energy. And this is also the way you should look at your communications, or where you're having any kind of like challenges, opposition in your relationships. It's like, how can we all win here? You know, how can we all benefit? How can we all get through this and all be better for it? All experience growth, all experience healing, and all align with what's meant for us, okay? So think along these terms, like really allow yourself to kind of like step into these rooms, you know, and explore what that looks like, you know, create space for that in your consciousness, even if it seems like an impossibility in some of the situations you're dealing with. Just the willingness to be open to explore it. You'd be surprised at how many keys come in for you, how many opportunities come in for you. But this says here, you know, obtain the friendship of anyone. So you may feel like there's no way that you can work something out with somebody, but this lunar cycle may prove you wrong, all right? And you may find that there's people coming towards you. They're ready to be accountable. You know, maybe they realize I didn't handle that right back there. And they want to come forward. They want to speak some truth. They want to come clean. There will be some of that as well. There's a little of that like confession energy. There's a balancing of karma that's occurring simultaneously. But it's about your ability to show up for it and receive it in such a way where instead of you thinking about like, oh, look at them coming around groveling. You know, you could go to that place of ego consciousness. You could. I mean, you're welcome to do that. You are the captain of your ship. You decide how things turn out in your life. But if you focus on that, you're staying stuck in the shadow energy. You're staying stuck in the Scorpio South Node, and you're going to stay stuck in a negative karmic cycle. Instead, it would be better to say, okay, you know, how can we all win here? How can we all experience some kind of healing? How can the light get in for all of us, you know? And that may just mean hearing somebody's truth out. It may just mean kind of like closing a cycle, letting go, releasing, and being well with leaving it in the past, not needing to sit and stew on it any longer, and just having that sense of freedom, that sense of completion. In some cases, you'll realize, oh, wait a minute, I really wasn't seeing this situation clearly. I was looking at this person through my own trauma, through my own stuff. I didn't quite have it right, you know? It can be illuminating. You work through things, you get to the other side of it, you both benefit. Even if you do decide to go your separate ways, or even if you have moved on in a new direction, there's still something beautiful that can come out of it, where you're not dragging a bunch of heaviness and old baggage behind you as you step into this new cycle, which is all about traveling light, okay? And you're going to travel at the speed of light too, like things are going to pick up, right? So don't get hung up in what doesn't matter. It's like going beyond all that. There's so much good coming in. Your ships are coming in. And it's not about like staying in resentful energy or ungrateful energy because you feel like things are taking too long. It's about radical trust that things are lining up perfectly. And even the really difficult stuff you've been through, it's been cultivating something in you, a quality in you, a tenacity in you in some cases. You never knew you had this kind of tenacity, or even just a certain desire, a passion being lit up in you that you wouldn't even have been aware that you had this fire in you if it weren't for the challenges you faced. So if you are dealing with ops, if you are dealing with opposition, if you are dealing with obstacles, like bless them up, man, thank them. Thank them for making you stronger. Thank those obstacles, those challenges, those people that you viewed as your nemesis, you know, thank them. Be grateful for them. These are the people that are helping you get strong. These are the people that are giving you the courage to actually like invest in yourself. They are giving you the gumption, the fuel for your fire that has you rising up out of those challenges. There's something you gain out of that experience. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. This is the school of life. We are all here with karma. We are all here learning in this school of life. None of us are separate from that, okay? And so once we recognize that, oh, we're all here. We are all on this karmic wheel together. We are all here to grow together. We are all here walking each other home. We're learning from each other. When you activate me, you're mirroring something to me that I have not been willing to look at. This gives me an opportunity to really reflect on that. This gives me an opportunity to alchemize that shit, to go beyond it, to grow beyond it. And when I do, I step into a new level of moksha. I step into a new level of freedom, a new level of liberation. So it's ironic, like the things that we normally blame for being our captors are really gilded cages. We keep ourselves stuck there in the Eight of Swords energy. Once we understand the true use of the adversary, the antagonist in our storyline, we understand that this character is here. If you want to look at it this way, let's look at it in a creative way. It's the story of your life unfolding. This antagonist is there to really rise something up inside of you for expression. Isn't that how it happens in the movies, right? There has to be an antagonist. So the protagonist has something to overcome, right? And that's the victory. That's what's happening now. But what's ironic is there's a little bit of like divine play happening here where it's like a bit tongue-in-cheek. It's sort of like you have been the antagonist in your story the whole time, and you reflected that it was somebody else. You know, you cast that image outside of yourself. You projected that image as it being somebody outside of yourself. And yes, there was a person who played that role. They were happy to play that role because they were also having you mirror something back to them and vice versa. All right. Now you're taking the place of creative director of your story. This is really coming in. You're owning your truth. Some of you, this might be coming through. Some of you have a story in you. Some of you have something to share through this growth process you've been through, and you're meant to put it into words. Some of you are meant to maybe have a podcast. You're meant to use your voice, or perhaps you're supposed to share something through some kind of filmmaking or public speaking, or maybe you're supposed to write something or start a blog, okay? Or maybe just even bring your voice forward more. Maybe you've kind of always held your voice back, even within your social circle. You know, you don't tell how you feel. You sort of just like, you're the observer. Maybe you're really being asked to bring your voice forward more. Like, people need to hear your views and what you have to contribute. It matters. And for some of you, maybe you've been dealing with somebody who made you feel like you didn't have something worthwhile to share. And if you have been dealing with a person like that, don't be resentful. Don't be bitter. Thank that person. Because they are the catalyst for you recognizing that, no, actually, I do have something to share. Don't you understand what that anger is that's rising up in you? Like sap, it's like where the growth is, man. That fire is rising up inside of you because your truth is, you know, that's not true. Your voice does matter. You do have something to share. So despite that person being a villain in your mind, they have come to provide you with a key that actually sets you free. They're a gift. It's really an interesting way to look at things that changes things dramatically, and the way you move through life. You move out of victim consciousness. You stop feeling like a martyr. You start moving into a position of empowerment. You realize, I haven't been stuck here. This is a gilded cage. I put myself here. And now I am ready to transform. I am ready to extract the gold from the leaden weight of that experience. And I'm ready to step into the refinement of my life's expressions. Really beautiful, beautiful energy. I love how that came out. All right, I want to do one more cut here, and then I'm actually going to shuffle some cards, okay? Another thing with that opposition of Mercury to this supermoon is that it's aligned with the fixed star Sirius, okay, the dog star. So this is really positive too, because even though it's a negative influence when it's opposite the moon, it's totally vetoed out by the other energies that are in play. It's totally vetoed out by the other energies in play. And when we got the star Sirius aligned with Mercury, we got success. We got accolades. We got getting your flowers. We got stepping into the winner's circle. We got public recognition. We got your time to shine. It's time to take the stage in your life, you know, and really realize that the blessings that have been held back, the abundance that have been held back, those ships you've wanted to see come in, you've been blocking the way because you haven't been open to receiving it. You haven't been open to receiving it because you've been too focused on the enemy, the other, this person's a problem. I'm focusing on what happened in the past, and you've been so focused there, it's contracted your energy, you're closed off. Okay? So, but once you get this key, once you really understand this, and it's going to help, all right? It's going to help as this energy builds. You'll feel it, okay? You're going to move more into this expansion energy. I really encourage you, please look at your astrological charts, look at your natal chart, and look at your progress chart. And I will pin those links, you know, so you can access that. If you don't have it, everything I brought forward in this live and bringing forward in this live, I'll put resources for you so you all can follow back up on it. In fact, let me just write it down so I don't forget. I need to put the link to the course for those who want to access that. Just take a little break from this train of thought for a moment. I need to put the link for charts. You're getting the natal chart. Okay. I need to put the quote by Longfellow. Okay. I want to make sure I get all this stuff in. And if there's anything else that you remember that I'm supposed to jot down there for you all, just, you know, call me out on it in the comments and I'll make sure you all have it. Okay. So yes, this is a really positive energy, and I encourage you, make your magic. However you make your magic, if your magic is making a beautiful meal and infusing it with love and then paying gratitude for it, you know, saying a prayer over it, a blessing over it, and taking in that nourishment, that mana, and thanking spirit for the harvest to come and all the ways that you've already been blessed up now. That's a very simple ritual. You could do a special meal on full moon on the 3rd, okay? Actually, it would be good to do it tomorrow, you know, with the building of that full moon energy, because it won't be full until Monday in the early hours, like Monday morning. So you'll want to like really do your workings, your intentional work with the building, the waxing energy. So I encourage you to work with it tomorrow night, okay? Would be a good time to work with the building of this energy. Just invite in that expansion. And one of the biggest keys, okay, for welcoming in this blessing energy that wants to come into your life in this lunar cycle is going to be gratitude, okay? So please, think of all the ways that you are grateful for your experience. And some of you may be challenged to do that. With that, I want you to pay attention to the degree that you're feeling challenged by that is the degree that you are still invested in staying in the shadow, and you are still invested in holding on to the past and not moving forward, despite what you may tell yourself about ready to get on with it. Don't be harsh with yourself. If you realize this, do be aware, if that's the case, that it's shining a light on something that needs to be transformed for you. And this is really a key for you opening up, you know, the way for those ships to come in. Remember, you know, we've been talking about this recently. You have to have a harbor, you know, for the ships to come into. If the harbor is blocked, you know, then there's no way that those ships can dock, okay? So they just stay adrift out at sea. So this is about you really preparing the way for it to come in. The first way to do that is you got to stop focusing on the past and staying in grudge energy or trying to desperately control something, micromanage something. It's time to really just let go and trust that everything in life is working out to your benefit, and looking at the ways that no matter what you've been through, that there are those pinpoints of light that are peeking through. And the more you focus on that, the more they'll grow and expand, just like that quote, you know, the infinite stars in the heavens, you know, the forget-me-nots of angels, you know, they haven't forgotten you, you know, they haven't forgotten you. I'm working with the Angel Tarot today because Angel Tarot wanted to come in very strongly. So I always respect that when their energy wants to come in. The Hermit. I love it. The Hermit. The Hermit walks alone, right? The Hermit walks alone. The Hermit walks through the dark. The Hermit walks through the shadow. But what does the Hermit have to guide him? The Hermit has a lantern. The Hermit holds a light to shine a way forward. That's what you're being asked to do right now. And if you hold that light, I love this, so beautiful the way it comes through. If you hold that light within you, the light will shine its way forward in your life. That's what it's about. The Hermit, Yamya, Word of God creating all. Alchemy and transformation rules natural events, helps with spiritual progress. Remember, this is time to do the spiritual work. This is time to lighten up spiritually. Enough processing the heaviness, the shadow work, okay? You've stayed here long enough. You can only dance with the devil in the pale moonlight for so long until it becomes a tie that binds you. This is what you need to be aware of. There's a point when you can develop a codependency with your shadow. It can become an attachment to your suffering, and it can keep you stuck. And this is something you need to be very mindful of right now, because you're not meant to stay stuck. That is the illusion. You're meant to move forward, okay? So I am going to just shuffle this one more time. You've seen me. I've been shuffling this very thoroughly, but we're going to officially call the energy in, because believe it or not, that wasn't even the reading. I was just like preparing the deck, all channel download, but I'm going to go ahead and like actually shuffle some cards, get them out on the board, do a wild card read for the collective. Really wonderful energy with this full moon coming in. I'm excited for the cycle. It's kicking off. I've been feeling the energy of expansion. I hope you have too. I hope that you've been feeling the possibility of it all, what is coming into being right now. It might feel big. Some of you, when you tap into the energy, you might feel anxiety sometimes, all right? That's because a lot of the energy that's shifting right now, it's happening in the upper chakra channels, okay? So I really encourage you to get grounded, okay? Spend some time in nature. Take your shoes off, take the socks off, put your bare feet on the earth. Earthing the energy is a wonderful way just to kind of like let all the heaviness in your body go. Feel supported by the earth. Ground out your energy. You can even work with meditations. I have quite a few of them up here on Broad Coven that you can work with. There's a lot of resources on YouTube as well. Work with the grounding hertz frequencies. I think really important to have Muladhara dialed in right now. All those lower chakra channels should really be dialed in right now, because it's what's going to help you manifest. So make sure you're having some kind of grounding practice at this time, collective. It's super important. Make sure you're hydrating very well, because when you got a lot going on energetically, it affects the nervous system. So make sure you're getting a lot of water in. Okay, this can help you with that psychic expansion. Water is also a conductor. You also want to make sure you're getting in good, healthy fats, all right? Monounsaturated fats, grain food. It will really help you. It'll help your whole endocrine system. It will help your nervous system. It will help you stay stabilized and grounded as you move into this expansion. So those are some tools you can work with on a practical level to help you really anchor this energy as you move into the largesse of it. It is a big energy coming in, so that might feel a little destabilizing to some of you. This is a way that you can kind of, clear the channel. You've got to remember to focus on these lower energies. And then I've really been picking up with the solar plexus chakra. Manipura that is so important right now to connect with solar energy, connect with the sun. Start your day with just a little sun gazing, you know. Close your eyes almost all the way, just a little sliver where the light can filter through, and let your face turn toward the sun like a sunflower. I love it because sunflowers just represent joy and happiness, and they always turn toward the light. So this is just a beautiful, simple, intentional meditation you can open your day with. It takes 5 minutes and it will benefit you on so many levels, mind, body, and spirit, because you're going to drink in the nurturing of that vitamin D, and that's going to balance your whole endocrine system. It's also going to be so good for your mood. It's going to be very uplifting. It will help you lighten up your consciousness. So if you've been struggling with any kind of like depressive mind states, this can kind of lighten things up. It's also just a beautiful intention to start your day in this way where you look up at the sun and you drink in that nourishment. You'll know you've gotten enough of the sun gazing when you get some watering in your eyes. Okay, the watering is coming from the lymph system is getting activated, which is beautiful. The lymphatic system is the rasa. It's the river of life. It's also what keeps all your electrolytes flowing, which also supports your nervous system, which also supports your whole endocrine system. Okay, it's all interrelated. This also helps get things moving. So where you have felt things have been stuck, where you haven't seen your manifestations happening, it could be because you have some level of like kapha sluggishness, kapha blocks going on, you know. Kapha needs to be able to flow. Kapha rules over the rasa, the lymphatic system, the river of life. Okay, so this is allowing this energy to move. All right, it's just so simple. It's so simple, you know. Just 5 minutes to start your day and having gratitude for that sun energy. And we have this new moon coming in, right, on the 18th with the changing of the nodes of destiny. It's in Leo, and Leo's ruling planet is the sun. So what better way to also get yourself aligned with these energies? This is a really simple ritual you can do. And in fact, on the morning, okay, on the morning of July 3rd, okay, on Monday morning, it would be a great way to start out your week. You know, just spending 5 minutes because you're working with that full moon energy that just came in. So it's potent. It's potent. I love this whole energy coming in, but we are shuffling for Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Ophiuchus, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. What is coming in for the collective this lunar cycle, spirit? What do the angels want the collective to know about the cycle coming in? I mean, with the angels coming forward right away, I know that we are integrating some very important life lessons, collective, okay? I know that we are in a place, oh, I got so much sentience. I got a place where divine timing is syncing up for us, okay? That's interesting the way that came. I got a place where divine timing is syncing up for us. You might find at this time that you're guided towards a certain place. You might have like a certain piece of land that's calling you. I got kind of like ley line energy coming in. I'm also seeing almost like I'm seeing like the lines of latitude and longitude in my mind's eye. That's also making me think of the Matrix, okay? I think that's happening on multi-dimensional levels with that message, okay? That I feel like things are lining up. Things are lining up in divine timing. It's got like big date with destiny sort of energy. I feel that very strongly. So just pay attention, because with the angels, we also have synchronicity comes in. But in order to get the memo, you have to pay attention, all right? in order to work with the angels, you gotta help them help you. First of all, you have to ask for them, all right? You have to ask for them to assist you. You have to be open to the assistance, okay? You have to be open and receptive to assistance, which implies a certain level of like, maybe I don't know everything. So can you help me out here? Can you help a broad out? I might not know everything, okay? So it's working with a bit of that energy, just like be willing to receive their help, be willing to receive help and support from spirit by letting go, okay? Letting go, trusting, paying attention, being very present, watching where you're led. Notice those like inclinations, just those little soul tugs that you're experiencing. They're leading you somewhere. You need to pay attention. You're about to hop onto your new path, and it's powerful, okay? So the signs are going to be all around you. And here's this thing about synchronicity. It's a magical thing. I love synchronicity. I mean, all of life is synchronistic, and it may seem like it's kind of haphazard, but it's actually not, because all of reality is mathematical in basis. So it's all just these patterns. And the thing about patterns is, just like with the shadow, all right, is this not true? We've all been in the South Node of Scorpio energy. So what have you noticed about that? When you spend time with the shadow and you're looking at your patterns, you start to recognize the patterns more often, correct? You see the patterns all around you. They pop up like red flags. Oh, there's that pattern again. There's that shadow pattern again. Oh, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to go in that direction again. You start to recognize it. Why? Because you're paying attention to it. You're becoming very present, very familiarized with it. It's the same thing with synchronicity. Only synchronicity is the light side of that, okay? So this is about you paying attention to the light, where the light's peeking in, those little moments of like inspiration, those little moments of like, whoa, that's weird that I had this thought and then that song came on the radio, or I was just thinking of this person and all of a sudden they're sending me a message. Like those moments of synchronicity, or when you overhear a little bit of a conversation from somebody who's around you at the grocery store standing in line, and it answers a question you were just asking spirit in your mind while you were sitting waiting there to be rung up. It's all of these little things. It's understanding that no, it's not my imagination. No, it's not just coincidence. This is all of life communicating to me. And the more you notice it and the more you say thank you, okay? 1:22:22 on the clock when I said it with the 3 energy in the room. Oh my gosh. The more that you align with that energy, the more that you will see the messages come in. So be grateful too. Thank you for that guidance. Thank you for that message. Thank you for that hit. If you have a question, ask life. Enter into co-creation with life. Okay, I get what you're saying here. What does that mean? Or how do I need to apply it? Okay, so super amplified this week. Yep, it's coming in. You're feeling it. You're tapping into the energy. You know, we're all going to be feeling this. It's positive though, and that's what you need to remember. So if you start to like feel nervousness or anxiety, you know, because a lot of people will have issue with this because they're not grounded right now. They need to like get grounded. They need to get centered so they can have the ability to step into this expansion. So making sure you're nourishing yourself, you know, eating food, nourishing food is one of the best ways to stay grounded as you move into psychic expansion, as you expand your conscious awareness. So be aware of this too. We also know that we're opening up a brand new cycle. So change, right? Change can be difficult for humans in general. They like things to be kind of fixed. And this has been coming in very strongly lately, that the fixed signs are struggling a bit with that, with changes, this letting go, this release. So we got Taurus, Scorpio, which makes sense because they're both over those, you know, polarities of the nodes of destiny right now. Taurus in the North Node, Scorpio in the South Node. So that's still in play, this lunar cycle leading up to that new moon on the 18th and the changing of those nodes. And then we also have Aquarius energy. Aquarius has definitely been at the forefront with the astrology for sure. first with Pluto in Aquarius, and we do got Saturn going retrograde right now. It will eventually end up in Aquarius for a little bit there, so that'll be an interesting energy, just like that kind of push-pull between convention and eccentricity, you know, tradition and the new age, all right? Like just this bucking between power structures as well, this desire to rebel against power structures that will happen not only globally, but that will also be happening within our own communities, within our own countries, within our own family units, within our own relationships, within ourselves, okay? So all of this is very, very front and center. It's very dynamic energy. All right, but we know we got good stuff coming in. So let's move more with revolutionary energy. Let's move more with evolutionary energy. Let's not get stuck in viewing the towers only coming as a source of oppression or loss or reversal. Can we look at it as springing free of the joint? Can we look at it as busting loose? You know, can we look at it as cathartic, as tearing down something that's false so we can have what's real and how beautiful that is? Bottom of the deck energy, King of Wands, front and center, fire sign energy. I also feel like right now we're really being asked to step into our fire. We're being asked to own our fire. We're being asked to stop just paying things lip service, stop just thinking about things, ruminating on things. The time for thinking about it is donezo. It's like time to move things into action. It's time to have a sense of purpose. It's time to have a sense of passion. And if you ain't aligning with that, you got to get aligned with that, okay? It's so important. King of Wands, Daniel, God the merciful judge. Eloquence gives answers to those in doubt, okay? This is very much like proof is in the pudding energy. I get that very strongly, all right? Proof is in the pudding. This is also a time for you to show people what you're working with. Don't play small. It ain't about that, okay? Proof is in the pudding. I got this where you've had people who've like maybe talked on your name, you know. They tried to define who you are. They tried to spin some narrative around you, tell the story of who you are, or tried to put some image on you, projected some idea of your limitations onto you. All of these things playing out. This is very much about you going, it don't matter. Okay, it don't matter who said what about you. It don't matter the he said, she said. It don't matter. It really doesn't. People can talk all the live long day, but what matters is how somebody shows up and what they do. And I feel like this is you sort of like you're putting your money where your mouth is. Like you're investing in your truth and you're going to live from this place. You're not just paying it lip service. You're taking some kind of action. This is what you're being asked to do. You're being asked to stand in your truth and move forward and be true to you and do the work to bring in your dreams, to bring in your visions, to head in the direction that you feel called to go in now. And by you doing this, you're going to erase all doubt about who you are. It will be evident in your earth walk. It will be evident in what you achieve. Fire sign energy, front and center there, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And when I bring this in, I'm talking to any strong placement in the chart. So that opens up the playing field a lot. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, or even a loaded house, okay? I think also collectively we need to pay attention right now. Where do you have fire in your chart? It's very significant. This is where you need to stoke action, okay? So look in your chart. Where do you have Leo? Where do you have Sagittarius? Where do you have Aries? What's going on there? Look at a progress chart. Find out where that Aries North Node, where it's lining up in your chart, you know, when it comes in on July 18th, all right? You can just look up specifically for that date and just see what's going on in your chart on July 18th. It allows you to do that on AstroTalk. You know, you can look under progress chart and do it specifically for day. Find out where is that action going down. That's going to give you a big clue about where your new beginning is, how you should direct your energy, what kind of action you should take, what's going on with Aries. So significant. What's going on with Leo? We know it's a Leo new moon, so that's significant for you too. Pay attention. Also, we're going to throw Sag in because Jupiter is front and center. We got trine Jupiter action going on. Okay, so this is where the expansion's coming. So where is your Sagittarius? Now you might say, well, I don't have any of those signs in my chart. Well, you're still going to have that Aries North node transit in your chart. It's still going to play out there, and you still have the houses of those signs. So in that case, you really want to pay attention to, with Aries, what's going on in your first house, the house of yourself, you know, your personality, like your outer presentation to the world, okay? You want to pay attention to what's going on with Sagittarius, which is the ninth house, okay? That rules over spirituality, travel, expansion, fortune, luck, you know? And then you also want to look at what's going on in the house of Leo, which is the fifth house. It's about pleasure and romance, you know, the lighter, more free, fun side of life. Okay, so look at what's going on there, and that all of that can inform you about where you need to take action, where you need to kind of put a little bit more focus. All right, where you need to stir up some passion, some purpose, like maybe prioritize things in this area of your life. It leads you to some kind of success. It leaves you in no doubt either. Like where you feel like you've been held back, you might actually realize like, oh, gee, I've been holding myself back. Who would have thunk it that all I needed to do was like take some action and everything would turn around? Watch this, you know, it's really going to come forward for you. Okay, give me some cards, lay it on me, angels. What does the collective need to know about this lunar cycle that's coming in? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Messy. That is like the most messy. I think that's associated with that tower energy. I've never had such a messy shuffle. And what comes out with it? The Fool. All right. So, I mean, that's kind of funny. I think it's also about like maybe making a little light out of the mess. Like maybe things are a mess right now. Maybe things are confusing. Maybe you have no idea what's going on. Maybe you can find a little humor at the absurdity of it all and the fact that everybody's kind of in this place like, what do we do? You know, it's okay. You're not alone. We're all in this together. We're all finding our way through. The Fool is really positive energy though. And it's talking about that Aries point, you know, the initiation point, the 0 point when all things start again. We're about to open up a brand new cycle. The Fool, the Huya, the exalting God, will and new beginnings assist with difficult and great undertakings. Okay, so it's like, yeah, it's a mess, but we got what it takes. We're in it to win it. We can get to the other side of it, and we got support. We got some help, you know. There's an assist coming in. Your spirit team is coming in with an assist to help you get through the difficulties. And maybe you have a big dream. And some of you might feel like you might have like a little bit of an imposter syndrome. Maybe you think, can I really do that? Some of you may have internalized too many opinions from outside of yourself, from, you know, people you gave authority over you. And maybe you are becoming more self-validating. Maybe this is a lesson in self-validation and just understanding that if you have a big dream and maybe other people have laughed at that dream, or they didn't think that you had what it took to make that happen, and you sort of internalize that and that affected your self-esteem in some way. For some of you, that's something that goes way back to your childhood. Like you always felt like you were kind of in the shadow. And this is about you really recognizing that you get to take that spot, you know, on the stage of your life. It's up to you to step into that light. And there's something here that by you just taking an action, you know, being willing to be a beginner, you know, be a fool, you know, maybe make some mistakes along the way, maybe not get it right, you know, and that's okay. That's all part of the process. That's all part of this art of alchemy? And can you have a little bit of curiosity about it instead? Can you be a little playful with it instead? Can you find some amusement in it instead? The thing is that as you move forward and you just take the risk, like, okay, I'm going to take an action in this direction. I don't care if nobody thinks I can do it, or I don't care, you know, if so-and-so thinks it's a bad idea, or they think they know what's better for me. This is really about you recognizing that when you take that step, wow, you start to develop a confidence. Like your bravery comes forward, your daring comes forward because you're willing to shoot that shot. And that shows you something about yourself. And it's like the more you step into this thing, the more you get to come forward. Like you're a Shay, that which makes you uniquely you, your essence. And then you're really taking place in the divine play of your own life. You hit the mark. That's working with that Sagittarius energy, okay? Your dreams take flight. They actually get wings, okay? I love it. It's very beautiful energy. And yeah, do take that. Do take that, Lucky. It's important that you take that because it is for you, you know? It's for all of us, you know? This is really about, you know, I also get, this energy has been coming in for a while too, this sort of like LARPing energy, like role-playing energy. I really encourage you to like construct an archetypal character that you can embody. Like if you feel like what you want to step into is just like way out of your league, try a character on for size, all right? This is about having some fun. It's about being playful, all right? So this you that you would like to be, this you that you envision yourself to be, that you want to call into being, then maybe you feel like, I don't know if I got what it takes right now, or you feel a little insecurity. What would that you do on a day-to-day basis? You know, what would be your day-to-day activities? How would you dress? You know, what would your style be like? You know, what kind of things would you do for fun? Like all of it. Like build a character for yourself and grok it. You might even want to use some kind of archetype that really speaks to you. I mean, that could be anything from, you know, embodying Batman, okay, to embodying Isis, all right? It's just about you aligning with whatever archetypal energy is speaking to you. And there's no rules, okay? It can be anything. It can be anything. You can be, you know, Thomas the Engine? What the heck? Hey, why not? You can be whatever you want to be, all right? And have fun with it, you know? Let it be tongue-in-cheek. And enter into this sort of like divine play with life. I feel like there's this big message coming through that life wants you to play a little bit more, okay? Life wants you to play a little bit more, have some fun, like lighten up a bit. Y'all are getting a little too heavy, and we can't create anything from that space, and we also can't receive blessings from that space. It's like when you start loosening up a little bit and having a little bit more fun, and maybe just inviting the light in with a little bit of this silliness, you'll recognize that humor, levity is also a huge activation key, all right, to manifestation. There's something about that. Like life's wanting you to create from a different place. Yeah, it's about finding the balance. Look, we have temperance coming in here, and temperance is that Sagittarius energy, front and center, the god of joy. Reconciliation regains the favor of those one has offended. And I feel with this case, it's almost like really just life itself. Life is like, there's like all this magic on offer. There's so much beauty in this life too. There's so much blessing in this life. Just the fact that you even get to be here, that you get to be in this body, that you get to experience this life is a gift. And how often do we not appreciate that? You know, we just complain. We don't really enjoy that we get to have this experience, this sensory experience. It's a gift, and it's what we make of it. And a lot of it has to do with how we choose to use our energy in the world and where we choose to focus our awareness, okay? And so I feel like this is kind of about like, you know, maybe making peace a bit, you know, balancing out things a bit in your relationship with life itself or with spirit, you know. Not everybody has a view of spirit. We all have different ways that we express our connection to our life's experience, our life path. So I like to speak to everybody because no way is the wrong way. We all have our own paths in life, and how that expresses through us as individuals, as one of the characters that the divine is taking on, or source, that one energy. It's just, we're all just different expressions of that one energy. So I feel like this is sort of like coming to that place of unity, reconciliation, realizing like, oh, I get it. I've just been playing this like character that's like really depressed and very bitter and kind of emo, and sits around listening to sad songs all the time, and is like popping off at all my friends, and hitting the bag of chips late at night, like feeling frustrated. Try on a different character for size and start to enjoy like the lighter, brighter, fun side of life. Start looking at more of the ways that, life is working in your favor, where you do have good things going for you, no matter how small it is. Because just like synchronicity, the more that you pay attention to these things and you recognize them, the more they multiply. The more they multiply. Just like those stars, the forget-me-nots of angels. The problem is the angels are like, help us help you. We haven't forgotten about you, but you've forgotten about us. You're not asking us for help. You're not noticing the guidance we're bringing in. You're not allowing us to assist you because you're not even paying attention to where that light is coming in, where we are giving you a helping hand. You're just looking at what isn't working. You're just complaining. Some of you, that's the only time you ever even make contact with what you view as spirit or your higher consciousness or life itself, is when something's going wrong and you want an assist. That's not a relationship of gratitude. And you wonder why there's no abundance in your life. Like, why do I hit these obstacles? Why is there no flow? Well, think about it. If you have somebody in your life and all they do is take and take and take and take and take from you, and all they ever do is like come towards you when they have a problem. They only come to you with their problems, right? They're always bitching to you, complaining to you, dumping on you, When you're dealing with that energy all the time, do you want to be generous toward that energy? It's the same with spirit. It's the same with the flow of abundance in life, okay? So think about that the next time you're complaining about your life and why things aren't working out. And I have to say it, I think it's very interesting. I'm just bringing this in as a side reference because, this whole thing about, the submarine, what happened with the submarine, and we really got to see sort of that play out collectively in the consciousness, this haves, have-nots, the us versus them, the divisory kind of matrix template. A lot of people made jokes about this. A lot of people, thought it was funny. They like to see the wealthy suffering a dismal fate. Okay, this kind of energy, this very energy that's still focused on the false narrative, which that the energy's divided. Okay, I thought this was really interesting. I have my own thoughts about that whole thing, but I'm not even going to bring it in because it's just not the time for it. I mainly just wanted to bring this in to focus on a key point, and it has to do with manifestation and abundance. These same people that do a lot of complaining about this and that are over here laughing, making jokes about this, oh, they deserve to perish. I don't think they recognize the relationship they have with abundance. Because if you have this relationship with abundance, that you automatically equate wealth or a wealthy person, somebody who's prospering, somebody who's successful, with evil, then you automatically are blocking your own flow of abundance in your life. You will never be able to be in this abundance space or unlock the key to manifestation and alchemy because you have this false belief that there's not enough for everyone. You have a false belief that only some people get that, and that the people that get that, they're evil people, they're bad people, and they deserve to suffer. They deserve a grim, grim end. Like, it really illuminated some interesting things. And the reality is that's not even true. There's people that are very wealthy that do a lot of good in the world. All right. But they don't get any attention. And they don't get any attention because there's this desire to feed that false narrative of division, the haves, the have nots. It's much easier to say, oh, only some people have this privilege and I don't have access to that. Because then you don't have to ever step into your position of creator in your life and make stuff happen for yourself. And yeah, maybe you do have more you're up against. Maybe you do have more challenges. Maybe your road is harder. 144 on the clock. But if you want to manifest your new beginnings, if you want to have prosperity in your life, if you would do better, if you had that financial prosperity, if you would make a difference in the world, well, you certainly can't do it if you're not rising to the challenge. Just saying. It really illuminated, for me, it illuminated the way that people are very disempowered, that they don't understand the power of their own life force and creative energy, in the way they misdirect it and give their power away by falling into this false narrative of us versus them, the haves, the have-nots. They're really disconnected from the PowerPoint of manifestation, and that's that it's one source. And we get to be an individual channel for that source and how we express it in the world. You know, it was really interesting. It shows some kind of like, you know, some real shadow, ugly sides of humanity as well. You know, and those are energies that we definitely need to transform. I love this. I love that. Yes. I think that's great. You're right in harmony with it. Yes. Invoke Dora the Explorer. You can have so much fun with that, right? It's just playful. And if you are dealing with something heavy in your life, it really kind of like balances out the energy. If you just like through this lunar cycle, just try it out, you know, leading up to that new moon. Grok Dora the Explorer, you know, what would Dora the Explorer do? Like anytime you're in that situation, just ask yourself, what would Dora the Explorer do? And bring forward a little bit of that playfulness. And I think you'll really find that it frees things up, and you'll notice some funny synchronicities come through too. And I feel that energy. There's like, this is very front and center. I got a lot of sentience around it. It's almost like Spirit wants to play with us. Like Spirit wants to have some fun too. Angels are, you know, they teach tough lessons and they can bring in tough love. But angels are also about mirth and playfulness and like sort of this like jovial side of life too. So they're really wanting to play with you, and this is going to bring balance. And also, it's almost like they're saying, hey, you know, the more you lighten up, the more you play, the more that you like invoke a little laughter, bring a little humor, you know, bring a little of that, you know, upbeat energy into life. The more that, you know, me and you get on the same side, you know, the more you can actually feel our connection again. You can feel our support. You reconcile that energy because you've kind of offended Spirit. You know, you're sitting here in this place of ingratitude and you're not recognizing the gift that you have to just even be on this earth. You get to be a creator, you know? You get to be part of that creation, of that cosmic web that we're all a thread in. And so it's really about stepping into that and being willing to look at things a new way. It brings a lot of blessings. Oh my goodness, this symbolism. I love it. And it's that big Empress energy coming in. And I love how it's mirrored because we talked about that. Okay, so we have Earth coming in here. We also have air coming in here. So we got earth, air, fire. We haven't had water show up yet, but it'll be interesting to see what this face down card is. Queen of Pentacles representing that Taurus North node right now. Very interesting because Queen of Swords represents Libra. Libra is going to take over that South node, all right? And both represent Empress energy, the Venusian energy. So Venus energy, very front and center, and it is very much about focusing on how can we bring that beauty into our lives. And I brought it in earlier, and it's coming back around now, and a lot of times my downloads come in like that. So I'll go down a rabbit hole. It initially comes in and then it comes back around, way deep into the conversation. But I brought in this piece about Archangel Jophiel, really coming in front and center to help us tap into that sense of awe and wonder, and about it being a bridge between as above, so below. And what I've been getting coming in very strongly is he of the fiery sword, which is a fairy and is aligned with that energy of ecstasis that gives us the will and the courage to let that light of our life shine out in the world and reverberate through that song of ecstasis, to bring more beauty, to bring more transformation, to bring more wonder into our earthly experience. And these forces are really teaming up right now. This energy is really coming in right now. And I might do some kind of guided meditation, visualization for this. We'll also be bringing some work around that we did the last cycle with our last community road opener we did back in the spring. Look for this to come in next week. I'll probably bring in this video that I'm talking about with he of the fiery sword and Archangel Jophiel. We'll do like an alignment of frequency, sort of Reiki healing manifestation session. I'll bring that in next week, and I'll also bring in the final stage, a soul retrieval, which is returning any soul parts you're holding on to. I think that this will be really good to work with during this particular lunar cycle, okay? So we got Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Swords, representing that Empress energy, and how we are being asked to really understand what has true worth and value, and investing our focus, our care, our time, our attention, our actions in that direction. Remember, the Empress is the embodiment of all four suits, okay? So we got the air energy, the ether energy, as represented by the swords, and we have the fire energy as represented by the wands. We have the water energy represented by the cups, and we have the earth energy represented by the pentacles. Those also coincide with all the doshas, ironically, as we're working through this Ayurvedic Own Your Fire road opener, where we're doing a lot of Panchakarma oriented work. So, that ether air energy that's related to the suit of swords is also related to Vata. That fire energy that is associated with the wands energy is related to Pitta. And then that water energy and the earth energy associated with the cups and the pentacles come together in Kapha, which is manifestation in physical reality, right? So I feel like it's about really being mindful of that at this time, and that we are bringing things into balance at this time. We're completing old cycles with the Queen of Pentacles. We have Mabahia, the eternal God. Intellectual lucidity provides consolation and compensation. So again, yes, consolation and compensations. It's the checks and balances coming in with the Queen of Swords. This is about the scales being balanced. Queen of Swords is the same queen that sits on that throne in the Justice card, okay? It's justice is being dished out. Things are going to be balanced out. You're going to lose some, you're going to win some, okay? But eventually, the scales balance, and what's meant for you is what you receive. Each receives their lot. Each receives their due. And we also each have our debts that we have to pay to balance those scales. So this is the energy that's very front and center, but we're moving to that point of stepping into the new cycle and what's on the other side of that, okay? And then with the Queen of Swords, it says, God, the hope of all the earth. Ritual and ceremony can acquire all the treasures of heaven and earth. So I'm telling you, the reward on offer is big. This is the ships coming in. It's important to now close the karmic cycle, to release, okay, to move out of the time of shadow, to let those scales be balanced, to trust that what's played out is what was meant to play out. It is the karmic balance, whether you're able to recognize that right now or not. it will become very clear as you step into the new cycle with the full energy, the new chapter that comes in with that new moon in Leo and the changing of the nodes of destiny. Then you're going to get it. You're going to understand, oh, maybe life does know what it's doing after all. Okay, it's kind of like one of those moments. This card here, this is the problem. Okay, got High Priestess in reverse, right? And right now, that's speaking of that Scorpio South node. The problem is there's still too much focus on this. Too many people are still in the space of, well, I got to integrate the shadow, and I'm staying in this place of integrating the shadow. We're doing all this shadow work and dark feminine. And it's like, okay, yeah, you know, it's had its time. And like I said, there can become a point when it can become addictive. We got to think of Scorpio energy. We got to, and there's that water, okay? We got to think of the Scorpio energy. We got to think of the South Node energy. We have to think about that 8th house. What is that 8th house about? The 8th house can be about addiction. The 8th house can be about that which is hidden, that which is subversive, the subconscious. The 8th house can be about what's taboo, or what is associated in some cases with trauma. It's associated with the deaths in life, but it's also associated with transformation and rebirth, right? So you got to remember the rebirth cycle of that death, of the letting go, of the shadow. You can't just stay dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight, because the devil is in the details. And that's the way that you can become chained in an old cycle and you can miss the boat. You don't create the harbor. Your ships can't come in. They remain washed at sea. And there are some people that will miss these opportunities because they absolutely refuse to relinquish control. They absolutely refuse to move up and out of the old cycle. They are hell-bent on getting revenge on somebody. They got a grudge energy. They are attached to their suffering. They use their trauma as an excuse. And I'm not saying that trauma can't deeply impact a person and affect their life and create a lot of opposition and hardship. It absolutely can, okay? I love you too. Yeah, drop in. The replay will remain up. You know how it goes. We always do deep dive with this. So you might need to take it in doses, in chunks, you know, not all in one bite. But thank you so much. I'm so glad you dropped in and you shared your voice. I love you. This is very much, you know, about let it go. You got to let it go. You can't stay down here any longer unless you want to go on that ride. If you want to stay down there with the devil, you can, you know, but be careful about making a deal with the devil, because you're going to miss out on this blessing that wants to come in for you. You see, this is in reverse, and when it's in the upright, it's success, it's protection from magistrates, all right? But when it's in reverse, this is no success. This is a loss, all right? And also no protection from judgment, basically, okay? With that protection from magistrates being in reverse. This means you will not like the judgment. You will not like the way that rolls out. Karma is just about your actions. Karma's made up of the actions you take and the subsequent reactions of those actions. It's the end result. It has nothing to do with some malevolent force hunting you down. It's going to get revenge on you for moving out of pocket. And that's what people really misunderstand about karma. Karma is just the fruit of your actions, you know. Eventually it catches up to you. Some people, it doesn't catch up to them, you know, until their next incarnation. That's why sometimes people are like, how can this person, you know, keep doing the wrong thing over and over again? They get away with it. Well, that's because, you know, they're just really accruing a lot of karma for the next incarnation. Their next go around won't be so easy. But the thing is, when we're dealing with the age of the Kali Yuga, with what we got going on right now, it's like, no, karma is being settled at this time. Like, debts are being paid, because we are hitting the reset button. So it's like, no, you will learn this lesson. And so if you miss the boat and you stay focused on the past and you allow your focus to be on what is the blockage, you're going to stay locked in that cycle. You're going to miss this opportunity to step into light. So don't thwart your own success, all right? Because it's all there for the taking. I'm going to go ahead and do a cut of the deck energy because I feel like this is really thorough. And then maybe I'll get an overarching theme card. So cut of the deck. Two of Cups. I love it. Okay. Luia, the swiftly hearkening God. There you go. It's like, no, we're getting things moving. We're getting things cooking. Okay. It's coming in on a wing and a prayer. Fruition provides expansive intelligence and gives the grace of God. Okay. So this is really about the creative manifesting in your life. You're coming into alignment with that which is meant for you. For a lot of you, this is also reconciliation and healings in your relationships, because with the star influence that we have going on, even though the moon is opposite Mercury, there's an opportunity for us to smooth things out, to get on the same page, to heal, you know, to come back together, to find the point that unifies us, to stop focusing on the problems and actually come to a place of solution together, you know, by coming together, by communicating, by putting our heads together, you know, and then we all can win, you know, it's that win-win kind of energy. So very beautiful. And look, on the other side, it comes in with Two of Pentacles. So I feel like Two of Pentacles is about finding that balance. It's also about, you know, finding the balance with those scales, like paying our karmic debts, you know, doing the work. And it says here, fortune and fame fulfills any request. So this energy is really beautiful. Look at that, 2-2, you know, 22 energy, master manifester energy, coming into alignment. A lot of you coming into alignment within yourselves first, and then watching your path rise up to meet you. And then finding you come into alignment with another, and there's like a beautiful like soul reunion happening here. Whoever you're coming into union with, collective, it's either somebody that you've been on a long healing journey with, and this person's coming back around, or when you connect with this person, it feels like soul reunion, like you know each other on a soul level. And you're also pulling these people in, you know, you're pulling in your soul family. I love it. And this is something to stand for, right? This is something to take action with. This is something to back up, you know, with your faith, with your purpose, with your focus, because we got Seven of Wands, Rael, the expected God, liberation, deliverance from enemies, both visible and invisible. This is big, triumphing over what has held us back in the past. This is coming into that place of total alignment, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So I'm loving this energy coming in. Do remember, with Jupiter energy and Sagittarius energy at the forefront, Sag is all about optimism, okay? So it's like, turn that frown upside down, okay? Enough wallowing, like get over yourself. At a certain point, it's a little self-indulgent. It's like, come on, man, like get over yourself. There's more to life than this. Oh, you want to bring in those? Okay. The angels want to bring in some charms, and they want me to bring in this super awesome future deck. Yeah, look, we're overcoming this devil here, all right? It's enough dancing with the devil, okay? The devil's a little tricky. And the flame card in the super awesome future deck is all about the things that we label as the enemy, or such a catastrophic experience as that devil, you know, that they're actually not that big a deal at all. Like, they don't have that kind of power over us. We attribute it that power. So it's about you being honest with yourself, telling yourself the truth about all that, collective, okay? Woo! And it was 20:03:33 on the clock when I said that. Lots of master number energy coming in. Do look for that. Look for 22. Look for 11. Look for 33, 44. All of those numbers have made an appearance in this reading. in some cases multiple times. So this energy is very front and center, synchronicities front and center. The more you notice those synchronicities, the more you're going to see them come in. Something fun that might actually like help you kind of put more awareness on your synchronicities is maybe you can keep a little synchronicity journal. And at the end of each day, you can write down all the synchronicities you experienced. That's kind of interesting. I think that's a key exercise to work with. I encourage you to take up that challenge that the angels are putting forward for you. I think it's going to reveal something to you. Maybe you'll realize you really are more supported than you thought you were. Maybe you'll realize that there is more hope than you're attributing. Yeah, you know, something will be revealed to you, and maybe a secret to you now that's kind of kept you in this place of struggling and at odds, you know, dealing with challenges, having your faith challenged, just not understanding what's going on. But you're tapping into the secret now. You know, you're going to get the secret revealed to you if you work with this exercise a little bit. The secrets will be revealed to you. I love this. It's a bit of like alchemy in action. Okay, overarching theme for the collective moving through this lunar cycle that's coming in with this full moon in Capricorn on July 3rd. What is the energy coming in for the collective? Overarching theme, spirit. Oh, okay. Isn't that interesting? This fell on the floor. I think this is significant. It's the blender with anchor. Okay, so this is like you're throwing away the need to stay, you know, sort of like in the eye of the storm any longer, you know. There's been a lot of conflict around you. Some of you have been dealing with a lot of drama in your life. Some of you have felt a lot of instability. You might have been blaming it on a particular person, kind of holding them accountable. But you're the one who's been holding on to this person and not letting them go. So you've been keeping this in your life and staying on this spin cycle with this person. You know, it's like you guys can go around and around and around and around and around. It's just going to keep, you know, staying in this place of no forward progression and instability. All right, I see you like throwing this away. You're no longer investing in this. All right, that's a big theme coming forward. You're ready to do things a new way, okay? But you gotta let that shit go. That's very front and center, all right? It's like, you know, just make peace right now. It might feel like it's a little bit compromising, you know. You might feel like in some ways, some of you might feel it like kind of hurts your pride to make peace with somebody that you know, like just like did you wrong, did you dirty. But Spirit's like, just trust, okay? This is the best course of action for you to take. Have a higher perspective. This is what gets things moving. This is what moves you out of this instability and, you know, sets off a new chapter in your life, gets things moving in a better direction, okay? It also is telling you, you know, don't make agreements with anything that doesn't support the kind of life you want to be living, you know, and that may mean letting some things go, but you don't have to let them go in anger, right? You can just let them go and recognize, okay, this isn't in alignment with me, and that's okay. You know, I'm able to move forward. I don't need to hold on to this. I don't need to hold a grudge. I don't need to make this person pay. I don't need to make them accountable. That's that person's life choices, their path, and their karma. You know, the work that they're doing in their own soul's growth. Okay, so you don't need to take charge of that. All right. A lot of it's about relinquishing control and trusting where you're being led and paying attention because the signposts are very front and center at this time. Hey, hon. All right, what's this? It really wants to reiterate this message, okay? With the 24 energy here, the keys, it's in reverse, all right? The more that you hold on to these positions where you're trying to hold somebody accountable, you think that they should make something up to you, you're blaming your circumstances on this other person. You're giving somebody outside of you the power to validate you and validate your experience. You know what your experience was. You know what's right for you and what's not right for you. And if you're not in alignment with this person or this situation or this thing, then it's about releasing it. It's not about holding on to it and trying to force a fit. Because no matter how many times you try to use that key to open that door, it's not going to lead anywhere and you're going to stay in the dark. Okay, you don't get to move forward into the new chapter. So in order to turn this energy around, you got to stop looking at the past, looking at what happened back there, trying to make it fit your narrative, your idea of how things should have been, or what this person should do, what the right thing for them to do. It's not about you micromanaging another person's choices. It's about letting go, trusting that despite the discomfort, despite how it may give you, and it's a little, you know, a little food for thought, a little self-reflection. Maybe it kind of bruises your ego a bit to like not get your final words in, not get your final jab in. You got to understand what that's really about though. Why does your ego feel bruised about that? If something's not for you, it's not for you. If it's not right for you, it's not right for you. Why are you holding on to it? Don't you want to move on from it? Don't you want better than that? It was 2:10:22 on the clock when I said that. Yeah, you got to bring this 10 energy. You got to bring this thing to a close if you want a new beginning. 2 energy to come into alignment. 22, you know, with that which is meant for you. All right? It's all about how you move forward from this point. You can't move forward if you're still looking back at the past. It's like your keys are lost. You can't find them. You're hunting everywhere for them. Some of you may be losing your keys frequently, like you feel like you keep losing your keys or misplacing them. That might be coming through as a little synchronicity to let you know that, you know, you're focusing your energy in the wrong way. You need to kind of like look the other way. Interesting message for that to come in. Okay, I want to do a cut of the deck energy on that. It's been a long, hard road, okay? You've been working really hard. At times you felt very conflicted. You couldn't make up your mind. You didn't know if you should trust your heart. You had a lot of grief to process. You know, you feel tired. You feel like it's been a long, long, hard road, you know? You feel like you're dragging a whole bunch of lessons behind you, like you've just been consistently getting schooled. You're continuing to go forward because you do still have a little bit of cockiness in you collective. You're like, I'm not going to let them beat me, man, okay? But there's also this piece about, you know, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? And it's time for you to realize it doesn't have to be this rough for you to get to the other side. It doesn't have to be this hard. It's because you're trying to like school people. You feel like, here, I'm going to school you. I'm taking you to school, you know, hop in the bus. You need to learn your lessons. You're trying to exact karma on other people. You're trying to be Dharma dealer, but you don't get to play that role. You know, it's time to drop it. As soon as you drop this, you're going to find the way a lot easier for you. You know, yeah. You know, here's the thing. It's like you're on the attack. You're on the attack. And this is just going to continually bring you tower after tower after tower until you snap out of it. So it's sort of like I'm getting this big message that Spirit's saying, look, if you get on board and you start moving toward the light, you know, moving toward the wisdom that you extracted from the experiences you've been through, if you move more in a spirit of gratitude, if you start taking an action where it does feel good, you know, and if you bring in a little bit more play, a little more levity, and if you actually like let go and let us help you, then you can avoid these repeat towers, you know, you can avoid this disruption in your life. You can break out of this cycle. You can really break free. But it doesn't want to tell you what that looks like because you got to discover it as you go. And it's by you entering into this like partnership with Spirit, this creative partnership with life, and releasing the struggle and the fighting and this need to blame and attack, and start taking ownership of your life experience, and just don't feed the trolls, don't feed that energy that is keeping you stuck in a cycle of negativity. And then once you do that, you have opportunity for those ships to come in. You have opportunity to set your sight on new horizons, and you're going to see that sun, starting to shine its rays and promise new things to come. And it's going to start to look a lot better and brighter for you, collective. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, I love it. Came out front and center. Look at it, big Sagittarius energy. Yeah, it's like Sagittarius is like, giddy up, man. It's like there's luck on offer, it's time to get moving, It also makes me think of like horse races, it's like place your bet, it's like you gotta throw your hat in the ring, and it's time to move forward. Horses are about moving forward with power, it's about being in your power. And it's also about, progress where things have been stuck, like your Chariot's on its way. It's time for you to charge forward, move forward. You're not meant to stay stuck anymore. And, this horse is like, it's showing off a little bit. It's like, it's chomping at the bit. It's like, I'm ready to go. Can I get going? You've been holding me back. You keep holding the reins. Can I please move forward? I want to move forward. Okay. So as soon as you like let go of those reins and you let spirit move this chariot forward, like you're going to like where it leads. You're going to like where you end up, collective. You're moving into a position of power. And I feel like it's like, it's like all the adventure of, those settlers, in the Wild West, as they were on the search for gold, and they were just, cowboys and, riding through the wilderness and going through long stretches of desert, and going from one town to the next and outrunning all kinds of adversaries and challenges along the way, but what did they do it for? They did it for the dream, they did it for the gold, they wanted that pot of gold. They wanted to have that big moment to like strike it rich, to have that moment of success. And I feel like this is what you're charging forward towards. And it takes like a certain enterprising spirit. But I mean, your chariot's coming. Your chariot's coming and you're riding in style. This is like moving forward very quickly once you let go. Because it's by letting go that you create that harbor where those ships that want to come in for you with that 3 of Wands energy can dock. You're going to love where you land. Take the leap. Do it. It's time.